Hello everybody, it is spring. It is April. As I'm recording this from my living room, again, I've been enjoying just spending time in my living room to practice lately. The last time I recorded a short snippet was the end of winter, the end of Pisces season, and it was a short thing. And today I have some things that I want to share. I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge that every winter to spring transition is a bit rough. It always has felt that way to me, especially living in New England. So if you're feeling that, please be kind to yourself during this shift. We're now in the new year of the seasons, of the seasonal wheel, Aries season, relating to your face, your eyes, your head. Allergies might be starting, a lot of internal shifting happening as we emerge again. It's 2+ years of living during COVID-19 pandemic, and it's not over yet, even though things have shifted. I sense it and feel it within myself and collectively all around, the grief and the changes that have come within the last few years. And something I've been talking about a lot with friends and neighbors and colleagues is just how now we live in a time where we learn about the suffering in the world. We are aware of it because of media. And it takes extra effort, especially if you are a sensitive being, a deeply feeling being, to create your own boundaries and practices to be able to hold all of that suffering of the world, but also what you are going through personally. So I just wanted to share that because it's something I've been thinking about a lot, and it was a tough winter for a lot of us. And I'm working really hard at slowly emerging and slowly finding the tools that are helping me and ways to move that have changed, ways to move that bring comfort. I don't know, it's an ongoing process, and I'm with you on that journey. So I'm gonna start in child's pose, but with my knees together and my hips back toward the heels and my arms back alongside me, shoulders rounding in and forehead coming down. So my ribs and my torso are coming to rest on my thighs. Now you might have blocks or pillows around that you could put your head on. You decide what feels good on your neck. You might also have something up underneath your backside, in between your heels and your bottom. But maybe just starting here for a moment of pause, connecting to the ground, like you're a seed, like you're a freshly planted seed. You might even bring the backs of your hands to the back of your ribs and just notice if you can expand the breath. Then you might gently emerge and reach your arms way out in front. I'm going to keep my fingertips down, but lift the rest of my palms up, my wrists up, my elbows are up. See, if it feels more comfortable to take your knees wider here, you might do that. Really reach out and let your chest drop down, get into your mid-back region. And then turn your head side to side. Even letting your chin kind of graze your upper arm as you turn your head. And then I'm going to slowly emerge up into a table-like position and walk the knees more underneath the hips and the hands more underneath the shoulders in your own setup that feels comfortable. I'm going to take a moment to move through a cat-cow, nice and slow. And then I'm going to take a moment to reach each leg back at a time, curling the toes under and pressing back through the heel for a lower leg stretch. So for me, I like to remember that this winter to spring transition brings the compost from the ground up into the newly planted seed. So it's the connection of feet to head and that cycle that we move through. Okay, from here I'm going to reach left leg back, right arm forward. Hold for a moment and then release. And when releasing, I'm going to take both sets of toes, curl them under, and sit back toward the heels. Walk the hands closer to the knees and lift the arms up. Let the hands come behind the head, fingertips touching the back of the head, elbows out to the side, and then pressing head into fingertips and fingertips into head, while simultaneously noticing the stretch through the top of the thighs, through the toes, the feet, the heels. Noticing how you hold your torso, your pelvis, and then release. And then dive back down to table and come right into the other side of bird dog. So right leg back, left arm forward. Reconnecting to how you're breathing. Doesn't have to be a specific way of breathing, but just noticing how you're breathing. Coming back, going right back into this toe squat. Sweeping the arms up. Again, you could take fingertips to back of the head, elbows out to the side. Just take a moment to readjust how you're holding your neck, shoulders, pelvis, legs. And then release. I'm going to come forward back to table. Let the feet relax. Now I'm going to take bird dog pulses. So reaching right arm out, left leg back, coming down, right leg back, left arm forward, coming down. I'm going to go through that one more time. And then release. This time I'm going to sit back just like we started in this version of child's pose with the knees together. And you might decide to come back to that, but I'm going to come into rabbit pose. So I'm going to take my arms back behind me, but then roll to the top of the head. So you're going to let your spine flex like you would in cat pose. And you could stay there. I'm pressing my wrists down into the mat. Or you could take your arms up behind you, lace the fingers, and reach up and back. So that is a bit of pressure on the head, so just being mindful. And then release. Coming out of it, slowly coming up and sitting for a moment just in your hero's pose, hands in your lap, taking a pause, closing your eyes or gazing forward just to notice how that felt. Maybe then taking some neck movements, lifting the chin up and down, maybe little semicircles. Good. From here, I'm going to come to a downward dog. So come forward, press hands and feet to the mat at an even pace while lifting the hips up. And then deciding from there if you want to stretch in a specific way. Downward facing dog is, one of the most recognized yoga asana poses that I would say most people are aware of. But the ability to practice this position in your own nuanced way is just never ending. And so I encourage you to just explore that and see what comes up each time you come in it. Connecting the mind and the body, noticing what emotions are coming up. I'm going to come forward to plank, push up and lower down slowly. From here, I'm going to lift up hands and legs so that the pressure and load is down into my pelvis and stomach. From here, releasing down, slowly pressing up through the knees. Coming back to downward facing dog. I'm going to come into side plank, but there's something I've been doing with my teacher, Catherine and Kyle and Mindful Strength. So if you want, you could take the top leg, pressing down in your side plank, and lift your bottom knee up. This is a Copenhagen plank, and it's quite challenging. So you could just see how it feels for a moment. Coming back to down dog, switching sides. So first finding side plank and then positioning the outer top leg, pressing the foot down, and then seeing if you can press that down to lift the inner leg up. Even if it's just for a second or two, something you could challenge yourself to and progress throughout this cycle, the Aries cycle. I've been enjoying the challenge of it, trying to work up to holding it for 30 seconds. Anyways, thanks to Catherine and Kyle for that. Okay, I'm going to come down onto my back now. From here, this is something I've been playing with too, and also inspired from the program I did with Catherine and Kyle, the Bodyweight Stars program. So in Bodyweight Stars, we did tug-ups. So that's when you come up and you hold into a nice ball, and you come down. You can try different ways of working your core. But instead of just doing that up and down, I've been playing around with bridge pose into that. So for me, that's felt good during this time of transition to spring, this most challenging time. Okay, so arms can come down next to you. Feet are about hip distance, depending on what your body prefers, and then you lift the hips up. From here, when I lower the hips down, I'm going to sweep the arms back behind. Once everything is settled, I'm going to shoot the legs straight out and then come up into the tug up. Then come back down, and as the arms come down, I'm going to plant the feet and lift to bridge. Take a round or two of breath. acknowledge your head to feet connection. And then as your hips lower down, the arms might reach back behind, shoot the legs out, tuck up. So you could do this as many rounds as you'd like. And maybe you'll do a few sets of it. With these kind of movements that are a little bit stronger and force that connection of mind and body and what you're actually doing, sometimes that really helps me get out of my anxious mindset or that kind of like uneasy, uncertain spring feeling. Okay, so I'm going to do one more round just to continue to show you. Bridge to the tuck up. All right. And then maybe take the knees side to side, sway it out. Now I'm going to take my block. You can do this without a block if you want as well, but I'm going to take my block and place it under my sacrum, under the back of my pelvis. Sometimes it takes a moment to figure out a just right position. I'm going to take the right knee in and left leg long. And sometimes, depending on all that I've been doing in my day-to-day, sometimes just the act of doing this is a lot surges through quickly, and then I have to take a real beat with it. And sometimes it's helpful to press and anchor that left heel, the extended leg heel, down to feel the extra surge all the way up the body. And then maybe from that, holding the top knee. So this is my right knee, holding it in as well. So it's kind of nudging you into a deeper stretch if it feels possible mentally and emotionally. From here, I'm going to extend this top leg, the right leg, so that the hands come behind the thigh, and that might even open up a little bit more, a little bit extra sensation. And then when you feel ready, switch, nice and slow. So again, just this act of stretching the hip flexor area, that alone might just bring up a lot of surge, a lot of feeling and sensation. Giving yourself time to observe that. And then maybe anchoring the extended leg heel and hugging the opposite knee. Again, you don't have to be doing this with a block under your sacrum. You could be doing this with your back to the mat. Or you could be doing it with even more left underneath you. And now I'm going to extend the left leg and hold for another few moments. Oh, hello. Hello. And then start to release. All right, from here, I'm going to take the block out from underneath, release flat to the back. And then I'm going to take the block under the back of the head and I'm going to angle it. So it's kind of at this diagonal, just so I can feel that occipital area at the back of the head and maybe do a little gentle massage side to side from there. You might really enjoy this. And want to stay longer, or you might just take a moment with it. And then I'm going to let go, and I'm going to take the right leg up into the air, let everything drop to the left, sorry Mira, and let the right foot come to the floor for a twist. So my right knee is staying up, my left hand leg come to the right knee, and just kind of give it a little push away for a second. From that, let the arms reach out to the sides or anywhere that feels comfortable. Sometimes I like to hold the left arm across to the right ribs. So just for the sake of time, I'm not going to hold this very long, but this might be somewhere you stay for a few minutes. And then switching sides, you might come up and take sort of a happy baby type position, or a hugging the knees in position, and then switch sides. So I'm going to let that left foot cross over the right leg, step the left foot to the floor, but keep the left knee up. So then my right hand's going to come and just gently nudge the left knee away. Just to notice what comes up through the pelvis, and then let everything go and release, hold, however you'd like. And then again, you might hold it longer. If you like, you could come up and take a happy baby or a hugging of the knees. And then another moment of rest, your final resting pose. Now let everything shimmy out from underneath. And this might be a good time of the year to have on hand an eye pillow or anything else that you might like that helps soothe the face or the allergies during this spring moment. And just notice your back body to the earth. Keep imagining yourself as a seed, like we did at the beginning. I love that imagery this time of year. Just a reminder that we all have to start somewhere. We all have to be new at something. And before we can shine, before we can blossom. If you are ready to emerge, you might start to bend your knees, wiggle your toes. And this was just a short, another snippet of a practice. You could weave these movements into a longer practice, see what you need. I wish you all a healthy and slow integration into the spring season, and I'll see you for Taurus season. Okay.